I like to draw people in and use it as a conversation piece or a place for people to start a conversation or see something in the art which, inspires them to converse or wonder where I'm going with the art that I create. My name is Jahmane. I'm a visual artist, designer, and muralist. The theme is inspired by a series that I have, and I've been doing parts of public installation projects that I have called Fabric of the City. And the whole concept is inspired by Gee's Bend and Gee's Bend quilters, which I've admired for a long time. Just the elements of design that they use, the freestyle use of color and balance that's used in the designs. I've always seen as sort of akin to graffiti and graffiti art. So just using that inspiration, coming from a graffiti art background, and wanting to take the art to another level. I've always tapped into Gee's Bend and the use of design. So that's what inspired this mural. Conceptualizing this particular piece, I thought was a good tie-in, like I said, just based on the history of Gee's Bend and quilt making and using, old and sort of recycled pieces of fabric that could represent an individual in the family or have more historic reference to the materials that go into making a quilt. I thought that this would be a good representation of just the many different type of people that walk through this location, because there's a dance center on one side and then there's like an art center on the other side, and you get a lot of different types of people, kids and artists and people that come through that area. So I wanted the piece itself to represent that artistic community that will come through there and experience the piece. And it's a sort of low sitting wall, but it runs maybe about 200 some odd feet. So you sort of have to walk past it and experience the piece as you're walking past it. So I thought that would be a good characteristic of the mural in that location. The process with this particular piece, anytime I do a public art piece, I have an idea or a concept, but then it's about the location and it's about the crowd or the audience that I think may come through the location. So using certain colors and the location of the colors in that particular space is something that I take into consideration. A lot of times I'll take pictures of the location, and while I'm working on laying out how I'm going to execute the mural, sort of envision where certain colors or where certain images are going to go in that location. And then, when it gets down to doing the piece, I make sort of adjustments, because I want it to flow. I don't want it to be so mechanical and just, robotic. But, I get a base of what I want to do. And then from there, when I go to paint the mural, just let it come to life. For the most part, I want people just to feel a sense of joy, to feel a sense of connectiveness to the community, the colors once again, and just the rhythm of the piece, sort of brings you through the walkway. And at night, it can be a little bit sort of dark and gloomy and scary, or on cloudy days, it could be a little bit gloomy in that walkway. So I just want the piece to make people feel comfortable and inviting as they walk through the space, or even hang out. Just like the overhang, it seems like a location where people, skaters, it looks like skaters used to skate, or just people used to just hang out under there while they're in between classes or whatever. So while they're hanging out, just, a place to be able to chill and feel good about being in the space.